The cost of Brent crude oil has risen another 10% today. A barrel of black gold currently costs over 2,000 rand. One economic commentator suggests that if this trend continues, South Africans could end up paying as much as 40 rand per litre. The oil price hasn't seen levels like these since 2008. Bonke Dumisa is an independent economic analyst. He joins us now for more. Professor, please say it's not so. 40 rand a litre. I'm sweating just thinking about it. What's the probability of fuel prices getting to 40 rand a litre?
I'm happy you used the word probability. Anything is probable in this world. However, when we talk about possibilities, then you actually start being more careful. I do not think that in the immediate future, the price of petrol in South Africa is going to that level of about 40 US dollars, of about 40 rands per litre. The reason why I'm saying this thing, yes, it is really worrying. I was actually looking at the movement of the crude oil prices earlier this morning around 3 o'clock, etc. It was well above 139 US dollars. But as it is now, it has gone down to 129 US dollars. That tells you something about the volatility of the Brent crude oil prices. So if ever then we press the panic button to tell South Africans then that they may be paying 40 rands per litre soon, I think we're pressing a panic button unnecessarily. What we can accept is that, yes, it is guaranteed, and given these prices that we see this morning and from last week, yes, we will see a significant petrol and diesel price increase in April, but not as much as 40 rands per litre.
Prof, you say not in the near future. Is there any scenario where things could get that bad?
You see, if ever the US military and the other NATO forces physically moved to Ukraine to fight Russia, and we definitely had a third world war, then there things we would not know what is going to happen. But what you've seen so far, and which seems to be the case, is that NATO is making a lot of noises about Russia must pull out, etc. But they're not committing their soldiers to that, unlike what happened in Iraq when they were chasing some very unknown chemical weapons. So Australia has said they will send arms, but they're not sending their people there. The US is not even committing arms at this stage or personnel. And even the countries which are nearby Ukraine are not. So we are not having a third world war. And because of that, as one commentator who used to be the White House aide said, if NATO just said one thing, that they are not going to admit Ukraine as a member of NATO, would not even be having all these things. So let us not press the panic button unnecessarily. The crude oil prices are out of control, but you must understand the US is also benefiting from this one, because it is the #1 oil producer in the world, and Russia is #2. And Saudi Arabia and others are benefiting from this. They've always been looking at prices far above 100 US dollars per barrel. But I do not think that we will reach a stage where we will, in the immediate future, have the petrol price at more than 40 rands or closer to 40 rands per litre. We may have it higher than 25 rands per litre in April. Maybe, I'm not saying it will, but not really anything that significant as those people are saying. I'm not challenging their theories. I'm simply saying the reality and not be alarmist.
Yeah. Finally, Professor, before I let you go, there are also fears that the conflict between Ukraine and Russia will affect our food security. And we live in an interconnected world. What is it about that conflict that could lead to our food security being threatened?
It is clear that we buy a lot of wheat from Russia, amongst other things, and we also buy a lot of fertilizer, among other things. However, when it comes to food, it is much easier to switch your suppliers from one country to the other. So even there, let us not really be alarmist. Yes, we may be affected momentarily, briefly, but we can easily change our purchases from Russia and to other countries. And even here in South Africa, we do have significant supplies of wheat. It is just that our own farmers want to use what they call the US dollar parity price. So they say if ever the imports are more expensive, we will charge that price. And if ever the exports are actually more lucrative, we will charge that price. So they don't necessarily charge the cost of doing business here in South Africa. So let us also plead with them to produce more wheat and make it available to South Africans. And then we will not have this panic mode where then we are not going to have our bread tomorrow.
All right, Professor, thank you for your time. We appreciate it. Independent economic analyst, Professor Bonke Dumisa.